is it? Are we just like recording right now?
Yeah.
Welcome to That's in the Bible, the show where we don't know what grammar is and put commas after question marks, and we don't know how to capitalize things. See, that's written right there. I actually had to read a joke about how we didn't know how to write. It even says show the script. Like, it's scripted for me to tell you that this is scripted. This is so meta. Anyway, today we're talking about angels. Angels, contrary to popular belief, are not people who have died and play harps all day and whatnot. I mean, they could. I mean, I'm sure some like that. I mean, they came from somewhere, right? The idea that they play. They're actually non-human entities living in heaven ready to do God's will, whatever that may be. Let's start somewhere you've probably heard of. Most people have heard of Michael kicking Satan out of heaven. Now, Satan isn't exactly the big bad boy he thinks he is. Or wants us to think he is. God didn't even have to lift a finger. He just said, yo, Michael, this dude is bad, and he is the devil, and you must remove him. And Michael just said, I will play my harp until he's in hell. And that's it. That's what happened. Or, if you want the alternative version, you can watch Angel Wars. Don't watch Angel Wars. John the Baptist was Jesus' cousin. You probably know this. But he had an interesting story in his conception. You see, his father, Zechariah, was a priest. He had finally gotten to go and do the important priest work in the middle of the temple. Then an angel shows up and says, hey, your wife is going to get pregnant. Zechariah was like, that's not possible. That's not a thing that can happen. And the angel was like, that is a thing that can happen, and it's going to happen, and she's going to get pregnant. And so the angel was like, you're going to have a kid. You're going to name him John. And because you got sassy with me, you can't say anything until he's born. At all. Just nothing. The next word you're going to say is his name when you name him. So, Assyria was after Jerusalem, invading and conquering Israel. And they brought in a big ol' army to take the capital. God was not happy. God decided to make a point. And when God decides to make a point, people die. Generally. So he sends this angel to do his point making for him. Just one. That's all it takes. It was probably the angel of death. This guy goes into the Assyrian camp and, slaps everyone around, and they all die. Which is why it's probably the angel of death. That's what he does. That's his thing. He just, death. 185,000 soldiers, according to this. The rest of them ran away. Because I don't think I need to explain that. God wanted to send the prophet Daniel a message. This time, it was not about unicorn goats, unfortunately, for us and for Daniel. Whatever it was being delayed. He had sent Michael, the guy who kicked Lucifer out of heaven, to go and deliver it, but he eventually also sent Gabriel, another archangel. Michael had gotten into a battle with some vague entity called the Prince of Persia, which you may have heard of before, but it's not that. We don't really know much about it, like, if there's demons have, like, these, like, areas that they're, like, sectioned into, and if, like, this guy, we don't even, like, was he a demon? Whatever it was, they were giving Michael a tough time, and so Gabriel had to come, and they just 2v1'd him and beat the crap out of him. And that's about it for that story. Gideon was an ordinary teenager. Except God told him he was going to lead the Israelites and defeat their enemies. Now, you've probably heard this story from VeggieTales. And if you have, you know that Gideon was not convinced about this. He told God that he needed to do things like, what was it? Making a fleece dry, everything around it wet. And he had like all these tests for God. And the angel was like, look, dude, and just lit this thing on fire that Gideon was offering the angel by touching it with a staff. And Gideon was like, okay, I get it. I understand now that you are in fact telling the truth. So he went and he led the army to defeat their enemies, and you know the rest of the story. He wrestled so well God had to cheat. Now Jacob was an extraordinary guy. He was so extraordinary, in fact, that the nation of Israel was named after him. Jacob Israel. Because of this one night. He was out doing things, just walking, you know, and an angel shows up. And he's like, hey, you're a stranger. And the angel's like, what are you going to do about it? So they fought. And he wrestled with the angel all night. This legitimate angel of the Lord. They fought to such a stalemate. This dude, Jacob, just beat, well, he didn't beat, but I mean, I guess going at a stalemate with an angel can count as beating them. But anyway, this guy demanded God's blessing, and he got it. Oh, his name got changed to Israel, meaning he struggles with God. Okay. So, God had made a deal about Sodom and Gomorrah. He hated the cities. They were filled with, well, sodomy. Abraham's brother-in-law, Lot, lived there, and he didn't want him to die. So he said, if there are a bunch of righteous people there, you shouldn't destroy it. And God's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And he said, if there are 100 righteous people there, you shouldn't destroy it. God's like, that makes sense. And then Abraham's like, okay, so what if there are only 10 righteous people there? And God's like, yeah, okay. So he sent Inspector Angel team to go in, kick down doors, and find 10 righteous people. And they went down inspecting to see if there were righteous people in this town. And a group of guys started following them and asking them for favors. This is, look, okay, we can't say how this story actually went because there are at least some older kids watching. If you really want to know this story, just go check out Genesis 19. The angels were running, as most people would from these group of men, and went to Lot's house and asked for him to hide them, and he did. And the crowd came to the door and was like, give us those two men so we can wait, these were dude angels? Lot said, no, I'm not giving you these men. And God decided that since Lot's family was the only righteous family in the city, he destroyed the city. Lot got out. He told him to run away, but the city did not get out. So, yeah, there you go. That's angels. That's what they do. That's the Bible, folks. I'm not sure what to call what we're talking about next time. Death by mundane equipment. Look forward to that. Pathetic ways to go. We'll figure it out. You'll see in the future, but expect some strange, unexpected stuff, because my name is Benadryl Cabbage Patch, and you can just watch Doctor Strange. I said that wrong, because I didn't read the whole line.